India has produced a female president, a prime minister, business tycoons and countless Bollywood starlets. But becoming a successful Indian woman does depend on the caste you're born into and what part of the country you come from. As India evolves from a traditional into a modern society, women here still face the challenges of living and working in a patriarchal system. Today we find out just how far Indian women have progressed and how much further they still have to go. I'm FAUZIAH IBRAHIM. Welcome to Mumbai and welcome to the cafe. Joining us in the cafe today are SEBHA HUSSAIN, who has spent her life helping rural Indian women organize themselves in business projects. She founded the BETI, or Daughter Foundation, to advocate for the rights of girls and women. PRIYA, CHAPHEKAR, an editor for What's on India, an online TV guide. She's pursuing her master's degree in English literature at Mumbai University. SANDIP KEDIA is a leading member of the All India Men's Welfare Association, which argues that the country's laws are biased in favour of women. FLAVIA AGNES, a women's rights lawyer who's been involved in the women's movement for the last 2 decades. A former victim of domestic violence herself, she opened a shelter for battered women in Mumbai. SEEMA MALHOTRA, a New Delhi-based social worker who trains Indian police in gender sensitivity. She's the director of Scope Plus, an organization that provides adult education and helps high school dropouts. RANJAN is a Mumbai-based magazine publisher who heads the Indian Television Academy. She's the founder of the Great Women Achievers Award. And ARFIE LAMBA is an actor in India's theatre circuit whose career was given a boost with a cameo in the Oscar-winning movie Slumdog Millionaire. Thank you very much for joining us at the cafe in Mumbai, and thank you all for being with us here as well. Now, you know, when the international audience thinks about the successful Indian woman, they think about the first female president, the first female prime minister. They think about also the Bollywood starlets. Now, Anu, is this a true representation of the successful Indian woman?
See, the fact that these women today have gotten where they are is very, very important for us to say that, all right, India has arrived. Therefore, they are representing our country. If we go back 5 years ago or maybe 10, 15 years ago, you wouldn't see women anywhere. So the representation, we're not saying it's 100% representation of a country, but definitely it goes out to show that India has become at par with the rest of the world. Indian women were always, today if you take 80% of them, they're still behind, sitting at home, not allowed to get out. This is the 20% who is representing the 20% of India, which is the world is looking at. And it has to be taken very seriously. They're role models for others who never thought they could get there, to start moving out of their homes and start doing things which they're all capable of and which they have the total ability to do. So I think this representation is very important for these people to be noticed, talked about, because it gives a person like me, who I never thought would be able to get there, that if she can do it, why can't I?
Well, that's a very good point. But Seema, you know, Anu was talking about these are role models. But do women, as you say, the 80% of women who live out in the rural areas, do they want to get out of the house? Do they want to be just as successful as these representations?
See, if we talk about success in economic terms, Indian woman has not. But getting out of the house, all these years, poor lady is out in the fields. 80% of the farm work is being done by the woman. But as a housewife, she is doing 80% of the time she is working. But if you're, measuring the success in economic terms, then definitely no. So they are happy doing whatever they are doing. They look at us that, okay, she's gone out, she's wearing a purse. For them to even carry a purse and go out, it will be, oh, you are going to wear a purse. To me, you have become a madam. For them, it's like that. So
So is this the true representation? Is if you are suddenly successful, you're seen as, oh, you're too high and mighty for us? Is that?
Well, depend upon what societies you are moving in. But I would say, I suppose this is true for many other countries as well, many other developing countries for sure. There are different kinds of India. There's one India which is represented in Bombay, for instance, where you have a particular creamy layer of women who are wearing fancy clothes, who are out there, who are on TV, who are in films. And that's a very, like, you know, I would say not even like 20%, I would say 1%. Then you have a whole lot of working women in Bombay who just go do ordinary jobs, come home, cook for their family and look after their families. They go to work, come back, and nothing much has changed for them because even what they earn, they do not control. Then you have a whole lot of women in the unorganized sector who've always been working, and they work, and again, they don't control their money, or even if they control the money is so less, it's not enough to make ends meet. So India is
Can I just stop you there? When you say they don't control their money, what does that mean? Where does the money go?
The husband would control the money, or the father-in-law would control the money. The family would, if it is a joint family structure, and most families are in that sense joint families, not in a very extended sense, but they're not nuclear where husband and wife only are living together. There might be a father-in-law, mother-in-law, brother-in-law, who then will control the family finance. And this woman doesn't control the money that she earns. So that's mostly middle-class families for us. But in the working class, women may control their money, but even then the money is so less, there's nothing much to control. It's day-to-day subsistence, day-to-day living. So, I mean, one day you might eat, one day you might not eat. So we have great disparity in our country. I mean, you have like a lot of affluence. If you come to Bombay, you see around, you see so much of wealth. But also in Bombay, you will see starving children, starving women, people without clothes, begging on the streets. So it's a city, particularly Bombay is a city of disparity. But also India as a country is a land of disparities.
SEBHA, would you agree that there are these two Indias that are in existence?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Many Indias,
there
you
are
said.
two Indias and many Indias. I would say that not only just the very rich who are there, who make only about 10%, and the very, very poor who make the 70-odd%, who go hungry, who have no identity, who are exploited, who are unrecognized. And I would like to just share with you the question of women from the interior areas or the hinterland of our country, which is Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. Both of them are the poorest, the most backward, where female literacy rates are abysmal, where the gender development index, you might say, is hardly existing. And I can just tell you how the pathos, what it is for a woman. We were doing a study, a training with women in this area. And at the end of the study, where women were allowed to interact, they were conscientized, and then we asked them, what is it that has been the most special thing for you in this study? And you know what they said? That the fact that I have my name. I'm called my name, that I'm addressed by my name, which might be Savitri or Hamida or something, and not mother of so-and-so, wife of so-and-so, daughter-in-law of so-and-so, grandmother of so-and-so. This is the first time that somebody has addressed me by my name.
I would just share, like, you know, we give a name tag during our training. They become a precious possession. They want to take the tag back home. Generally, we tell them, please leave them so that we can use for the next training. What she's saying is so true. They say, ma'am, can I take that tag back? And what she said, as a counselor, I have handled cases of modern, so-called modern, successful, economically independent women. Their checkbooks are taken by the husbands. And husband doesn't have a control over them. It's the mother-in-law who's handling them.
I see. So it's another woman that's controlling this woman's finances.
In one of the cases, yes.
I need to speak here.
Sandip,
yes,
yeah.
I need to speak here.
Please do.
In my opinion, India is the perfect example of unity in diversity. This is not two worlds. There is different world in different states and different culture, different religion. It's a huge country and we are proud of it. Beside that, I disagree with the other speakers here because I feel if in rural India, if a woman they are suffering, then men are also suffering. On an average, the earning is less in a family. That is the core problem we are facing. Now, I don't agree with this one point that only women are suffering. I say that if there are, there is, I feel that I feel in rural India, if women are working in the farm, men are also working in the farm. Traditionally, 70% of our Indian population, tentatively, they are staying in rural India and they are doing farming. So the entire family is farming. Traditionally, the wage rate is less in rural India. There is no doubt on that, and the entire family is suffering. So when we talk about gender inequality, which is a core issue today, I feel that men are also equally suffering financially.
So are you then suggesting that there is no gender inequality in India, that there's a disparity between rich and poor, and that's all there is, but there's no gender inequality?
No, I won't say that. I will agree to some extent. There is gender inequality, and women are in the receiving end, and men are also at the receiving end in a lot of cases. So that can be definitely noted down, that men are also at the receiving end in a big way.
What?
I just want to add here, when in a farming family, both go out to work in the field, or the men may be working in the field. But women are working in the field
at the home
and in the home.
Multitasking.
Man and women both are working in the office, but woman comes home and then she must prepare a tea for the husband, because if she doesn't prepare the tea, then she might get beaten.
And breakfast
or
and morning.
breakfast and dinner and etc. So now I agree, in urban families also, both husband and wife are working. But the burden of running the home, burden of keeping the home, the kitchen fire, looking after the children who are sick, looking after the in-laws who are sick, or seeing that the meal is on the table. So you have X amount of money, prices are going up, but family must eat. And husband, first they must eat, then the children must eat, and last of all, the women will eat. Why there is so much of malnutrition among women today? Why health facilities are not available today for women? Why such high rate of maternal mortality for women? Women is dying in childbirth. Because when you have little money, where does the healthcare money actually go? Firstly for the breadwinner, because he must be there. Then for the children, because for the next generation. And if the woman is sick, most of the time she goes to the hospital only when she's pregnant, when she's given a special care. But tuberculosis is there, weakness and anemia, so many other diseases.
Well, let me fine. If that's the case, let me then just ask you, where is this coming from? Is this a problem of the system, or is this a cultural issue? Or
that's the way they are brought up by the same mothers. They are told that you're supposed to put your family first. They are not supposed. They need to be taught in a different way. It's the education which is not the right thing.
It is embedded.
In a girl and boy born in the same house, the boy is given education, the girl is not.
No,
now the woman, for example, like she said, when they are unwell, they don't even go to doctor till very desperate. She has to stand back while the men eat. She makes food for them.
Arfie doesn't
both
think
my
so.
sisters are more educated than I am. My mother, my aunts are more educated than the men in the family are. No, very small town. Very small town. I think things are changing. I think things are changing.
Priya, we haven't heard from you. You're a young woman in Bombay. You're a working woman in Bombay. Tell us, what's it like?
I think I would like to take on what he's saying. I think the whole question, it's the question of money. In my family, if I have a sibling, if I have 3 brothers, 2 sisters, whatever it is, if my father is well off, he will educate all of us. But if my father doesn't have money and I have just one brother and it's me, then he will think that, okay, it's better to maybe educate the son than my daughter, because she's anyways going to go off. But my son is going to be the next working member. I mean, this is the kind of thinking that happens in lower income groups.
So again, I ask, is this a system? Is this an issue that's entrenched in the system, or is this a cultural issue in India?
I think life in Mumbai, inside Mumbai, and life outside Mumbai is really different.
But you can't take Mumbai as alone as
not Mumbai, any cosmopolitan city.
Isn't
any
that
cosmopolitan city for that matter, because if you look at BPOs and call centers, there are a lot of girls working in BPOs call centers, and mostly these girls are from the 2nd and the 3rd tier city. So that means that their parents are okay sending them. We party as hard as boys do. We go out, we come late nights as much as the boys do. So where urban classes are concerned, I think there is gender equality between
Okay, no, I would like to put up a very core issue out here, which is a grassroots level problem out here. If I go into the grassroots level, I can safely say that one issue is poverty. Second issue is lack of education. Third issue is underdeveloped civilization. Fourth issue, a lot of time, there are a lot of social barriers which comes out. So because of these things, see, being a father or a mother, any parent would like to educate all the children. But if they don't have money, like she said, that if her father had less money, then probably her father would have preferred his son. I somehow don't agree with that. I feel that poverty is one big issue our country is coping up, our country is facing. If there is less poverty or there is social security system by our government, our constitution says that every child, right to education, every child has the right to get proper education, free education from the age of 6 to 14. But practically that is not happening.
But I think we all forget that we have been under a foreign country for 200 years. It's only been 60 years we've been independent. Last 10 years has seen an explosion in inequality between men and women. We need another 20 years and we'll be there.
The gap is bridging. Lots of money in our country.
You're a better, you work at grassroots levels, you work at grassroots levels, you're a better person to say this.
No,
but
I would say that the gap has widened. The gap has widened between the rich and the poor.
And it is going on.
The social security nets which used to exist earlier have broken.
But can I disagree with you there?
No, let me, the land holdings which are there and people are farming and that we are hearing, they are very small land holdings. They do not produce enough. So that forces migration. There's forced migration.
to towns, small
towns for men, and then they come and when they go back, they take back. They are HIV positive, and that is why HIV is now mainstream. You are not having these high-risk groups of truck drivers, etc., etc. They are all.
But SEBHA, you know, we're talking about economics here.
Yeah,
we're suggesting that perhaps if poverty was alleviated, then gender inequality would be far less. Is that really the case?
Gender inequality and gender disparity and the ratio is the worst in the richest states of India. When we talk about gain economics, it's not that the richer people are giving any preference to daughters. Punjab is one of the richest states, and maximum feticide and infanticide is happening there. They do not want, because they are landowners. So people who have properties, they do not want daughters because they will have to share it with the son-in-laws. People who are poor, just let me finish. And people, sorry dear, sorry. And Punjab,
I am from a family which is a farm holding family. My dad's a farmer.
You may not be the one. Maybe you are not the one, but you know what is your ratio? 1,000 to 830. And every day it is reduced.
I don't dispute the female feticide being there.
It's the lowest in Punjab.
But education is highest in Punjab amongst women, you know.
Yeah, even in Kerala,
that's
but
how
again...
women are treated there. They're being educated all the more.
We're talking about two different things. One, we're talking about rich and poor. Our country had, maybe a decade ago, we had 10% rich and 80% very poor and middle class. Today the middle class has grown. There is definitely less poverty than there was. We keep on saying 70% of the country poor. It's not the way it is. Today we can say that there is the 10% rich has become maybe 15-20. The poor, which was a 10%, I mean the middle class, has now gone to a 30-40, and the poverty is less. So therefore there is a major growth happening in terms of economics, which will then affect the mind. That's the reason we're talking about female infanticide, feticide. We didn't exist. We didn't know it happened. Today people are aware that these things are happening around here.
Especially the female, the women favoring laws that are there, like the Prenatal Diagnostic Act 1994 and even the Domestic Violence Act, and the Indian Penal Code has several things that are there for women. I think women are beginning to take advantage, and more than formal education, I think the awareness is very important. Even in the parliament you have Fulan Devi, or you have many women who are not as educated, but they are probably more aware than maybe all of us.
You've got to give credit to television for that.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, today the fact that there is television, I give 100% credit. The fact that I know so many things like the rest of us is because we see it. I see you sitting over there doing A, B and C. I bloody well want to do it, yeah. I see if you can get away with this, I do it. So I think that is what, don't forget TV serials.
The serials are what people watch and they project in a very
Let's
bad
talk
way.
about TV serials.
But that's only
Actually,
India.
you're an
They
actor
project
yourself.
women
The
in the same way
projection
they have
of
been
women
projected
in the
always.
media in
Which is very
India.
correct.
What is the portrayal of women in India
I would
in
say
the
that
media?
the work needs to be at the grassroots levels, like these people are working. I would like to see TV serials where they show women working, not the same feudal societies where the women is still in the family, sitting there trying to play games inside the family, you know. The TV serials need to change. That's what is being watched by the major population. That's why women are still there, still trying to feed their families, still trying to be those jewelry-clad women and, you know, setting up the tables.
That's aspirational.
But then
That's not the case.
Can I then ask you, maybe women don't want to break that
that's
mold.
actually-
Maybe
actually
women
they
do
do.
want to stay in that. Is that
Arfie, this is what
would
they
you
want.
agree
This
with
is
that, Flavia?
aspirational. These serials are, you want to be dressed like that. You don't want to sit at home in a cotton sari and you don't want to cook. You want to be with jewelry and roam around. These serials, the fact that the whole country is glued onto them, there must be something in them which they like, no?
And look at the target segment of those serials. They are these Gujarati and Punjabi housewives who have like a lot of money. Like even their husbands are earning and all of that. They are sitting at home. They're taking care of the house. They're taking care of the children. They have nothing else to do. So these are the serials that keep them entertained.
That I would like to see the TV serials becoming more in a different way, you know, more aware, more smart, trying to change the society.
So many channels.
Women
You
needs
just
to,
change the channel, yeah.
and you always see some women or the other crying on channels. You know?
Right. Maybe. Is that, yes, please.
Media has a role to play. Even newspaper, I would want media to stop wherever we see a woman being used as a commodity. I think whatever is happening to Indian women today is because a man, sorry, I work a lot with men, so please, I'm not against men, but even a woman is being used to be used as a commodity.
But I would differ there. It's not about being used as a commodity.
Of
They are
course.
the fairer
Just
sex.
a second.
They have to
Just
be
a
there
second.
to look
Why?
pretty. You know, you just can't
You
take
know,
care
just
of them.
you saying they are the fairest sex. You have already
They are.
categorized women in a certain way. Are
Why
you saying
does
that they're
that-
weaker
No,
in
no, no,
some
no, no,
way?
no,
Are
no,
you
not
just-
at all, not at all. But I would, despite the equality coming in picture, I would always like my women to look pretty. I would always like to open the door for her. Despite her being working at the same level, you know, I would still like her to be feminine and me to be the man, you know.
More like you, okay?
Mars and Venus have to be there. The difference you can't take away.
I
You
would
can't
like
take
to
away.
meet him when he's married. Then I would see whether he opens the door, because till the girlfriend is there, they're very good Indian men. But the moment they get the wife, she is the property of the mother-in-law.
I beg to differ. I beg to differ here. Okay, I am a married man, so I can share some experience there.
You are an
So-
educated urban man.
Okay.
Still, your wife is working?
Okay, no, I'll come back
Is
to
your wife
One
working?
second.
Not because
I'll come to
We need the male view.
I'll come
we
to
need
the
the
core
male
issue.
view.
First of all, media has some fancy about this women issues. I'm sure about this. Anytime any women, they commit anything wrong, they still glamorize them. They say, okay, Baba, she is a woman, she can do, okay, fine, she must have done out of something, this and that. But if a man does something, then he is the biggest criminal in this world. So, first of all, we should not glamorize or give advantage to a woman to such an extreme that, okay, fine, you can do anything and fine, you have no need, no problem, you will be taken care of. No. First of all, we were discussing about the gender inequality. Now, in this core issue, when you said about the income of the women, they are kept by the mother-in-laws, and right now you said that all married women are in the hands of mother-in-law. First of all, a mother-in-law is also a woman. She is not a man. She is also a woman. So this is the issue amongst the women, mother-in-law, daughter-in-law. Now, where the man comes there? Now, that mother-in-law is the mother of the man. There the man comes.
If we can just hold that thought for just a minute, stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the cafe. We're here in the mega city of Mumbai and we're talking about gender inequality in India. Are you suggesting that perhaps women are perpetuating this cycle of other women being oppressed,
At times, yes, at times, with conditions. I want to say, if any any female child is aborted, who's aborting that child? A mother is aborting.
I will disagree totally. I'm sorry. No. I'm sorry, I will not agree with it. A woman is aborting because she put out the bloody stress by the husband who is not a man enough. Come on.
Listen.
Men are not men enough in a country. If you allow your mother to decide that, excuse me, what I should wear, what I should eat and drink, that man is not worth to be called a man.
Under any circumstances, the female feticide, the killing female child.
No woman wants to get rid of a child unless she has to do it because there is some external pressure which are bloody well hammering her brain on a 24-hour basis. I will not agree with that. No.
You know, they say in India the woman is the major enemy of the woman. That is a given thing.
No.
But there are reasons, what Anu is saying, agree with that. There are reasons why this is happening.
I'm saying, for example, let's take men in our own family. Today, my brother, my husband, my son, father, whatever. If they start putting pressure, or my husband tells me, look, Anu, I have 2 daughters. I love them with a passion. I don't mind 4 more. If he comes to the house and he keeps talking about the fact that I wish I had a son, talking about the fact that when I have I'll die of guilt if I'm pregnant with another daughter. Exactly. So I feel for my own sanity, to survive, to be happy, let's get rid of this. Not saying it's the reason you got to live, yeah? I cannot have another child there, another girl. If men take credit for everything else on earth, why don't they take discredit for the fact that they can't decide what they want and they can't put their foot down when it should be put down?
Arfie, jump right in there.
No, I just want to say something. I have this maid servant in my house who had a daughter and a son. And the son, by accident, when he was 3 years old, fell in a tank and died. Constantly, the husband is telling her, now 3 years are over. She said, if you don't produce a son, I will get married again. Because his mother, his father all want a son in the family. So every day this woman comes and cries. He says, my husband will bring another wife because I don't have a son. I mean, this is the insecurity this woman is living under. And there's another woman who's got like 3 children, all of them girls. And she is so scared that if she's pregnant and if she is giving birth to another son, she will be thrown out of the house. She will be on the street. So what do you do?
That's a social thing, you know.
I do the Great Women Achievers Awards. I started this some 6 years ago. I was doing them in Delhi. My sister was a photographer for the UNFPA. So they approached me, can you do something for female feticide? I said, I don't know what female feticide is. I hadn't heard about it, I'm being honest. We heard they used to kill the girl child, but we heard about it. So we said, all right. I said, okay, guys, I'll give you a platform. They had one executive director of theirs coming from Switzerland, gave him my platform. He spoke, it was telecast on my channel. He said the worst ratio of the girl child is in South Bombay in one hospital he named and in Delhi. He said, this is where you talk about money, agriculture, education, nonsense. All right. I said, I still don't know what is happening. To cut to a friend of mine who has 2 daughters, who very proudly and happily said she had an abortion because she didn't want the 3rd daughter, she had a son. I swear I called up UN. I'll tell you the name of the director. Her name is Ina Singh. I said, I'll do this for you. Post that, I can say and I can take so much credit for the facts. In 6 years, I've been doing my BETI, which is against female feticide, where I've got all celebrities only. I don't take money, we do nothing, just to come and endorse and talk about the fact this problem is prevalent in our country. Ever since then, every paper, every newspaper, every channel you read about female feticide, and therefore we're sitting and talking about it. So,
why a male child is preferred is you don't have to give dowry for that. He earns for you.
Right.
And why a female child is not being preferred is because it's a social thing, you know. It's again money.
Women earn. I'm sorry.
I mean, these gentlemen saying they are equal, and you're saying that we don't want daughters because we are young.
I don't. I'm saying we want daughters.
You have to have a daughter.
You may love
I would love to
issue
have a
is that today hospitals are making money out of this fear. Why this is happening in where there is money? It's happening in Punjab. It's happening in Kolhapur, is one of the richest districts in Maharashtra. It's happening in South Bombay. It's happening in Delhi. It's happening where people have money and the doctors are exploiting a prevailing social sentiment. Don't have daughters.
That's the social sentiment we need to attack here.
Exactly.
That's the problem. That's what I'm saying.
There the education is required.
Education is already there.
No,
education is there.
I'll tell you something.
Where there is education.
Okay, can we just get SEBHA? SEBHA has been trying to get us. SEBHA.
I like to bring another aspect, which is the biological aspect of.
I know.
Now, the sex of the child is determined by the father. The Y chromosomes, not the X chromosomes.
So that is the kind of awareness
when we sit with the women, when we talk to them, we tell them this, and we give them written diagrams and whatever, and say, tell your husbands, tell your mother-in-law, tell your whoever, that it is not you who are determining the sex. We are doing this, and we have found in SEBHA, a self-employed women's association.
See, knowledge is power. Once women know this, they can actually fight
in Lucknow,
for it.
all the SEBHAs are different.
But
we have about 8,000 women, and we are constantly hammering this. It's not 8,000 now, there have been thousands who have come and gone. It does percolate.
I told the men are not willing to listen to this.
But they
What
have
we
to.
are saying is, you telling the woman to go tell the man that you are responsible, that I don't have a son. Name me one man today who can listen to
everybody will
anything
understand.
which goes against him.
Everybody will
men
understand.
listen to them?
I will say, now this is whole problem is, what I say, the core issue is the political will. Do you think in our country, if the government wants to stop all this, they cannot stop, they cannot implement these things? They can. They can educate the women.
But the political will is not what can do anything.
The political will is not there.
It's the women who have to stand up.
See, in our country,
species, you know, they can do it.
I will say something here. In our country, every law is made keeping in the mind the next general election, whether that is a popular law or not. If it is a popular law, they will come back in the power again. So from there, we will have to grow up. Our political system, our judicial system has to grow up and come and face the reality that no, we cannot only come out with the popular things. Now in China, they have taken strange steps that one child means one child. Now in our country, you can produce maybe 5-7 children. It is not done. This is the problem we are facing today. Our country's population is already 120 million.
1 minute ago, we said that all laws are done to favor women. A minute later, we say there is no law here. You mean politicians have to tell me whether I should have a son or a daughter? What are we talking here? We are talking about us deciding what child we want. Or a politician will call me up on TV and say, I'm the Prime Minister or the President of the country. Please do not have daughters, do have sons. What are we talking?
Not at all.
Can we get SEEMA to
See,
come
what
in
he
here?
said about China today. Yesterday, I met somebody from Bangkok. He says in China there are no women. So they're getting all Vietnamese girls to get married to. In Punjab, they're getting women. They're buying women from Bangladesh and Bihar. Can you imagine the fabric, social fabric?
See.
And what you talk about political will, you have to have legislations and laws. Ma'am is sitting there who's more qualified to talk about that. Law will not impact anything till this mind, this attitude.
I agree with you. Now, I would like to throw some light on the legal issues. Now, here, we are talking about gender inequality. I think, as far as the legal issues are concerned, now this is the time where the men need some protection. And how? I will explain in next 3 minutes. First of all...
Can you make it any shorter than the 3 minutes? We don't have that much time,
shorter than that.
It's a lot shorter.
First of all, Indian Constitution says that every citizen should be treated equally before the law, which is not happening. There are women protection laws which are being misused.
Can I
We have
answer
heard.
that question right now?
No, one
No,
second.
just
Let
let him
me
finish.
Let me
Let him
finish.
Because that is wrong conception.
Let me finish.
He's saying something not
Priya,
correct.
I can vouch for it that 498A is being misused to the extent of 98%. I have the data. One second.
I have the data.
I have the data of NCRB.
Can you just explain to us, for the
I have a
international...
data from exact
Can we
police station.
just explain what is the 498A?
498 is the section which was introduced in Indian Penal Code in 1984 and 83-84, which deals with the problem of married women. Like if they are subjected to any torture or anything, they can go and lodge a complaint with the police station. Now, this is a family affair. This section is such horrible section. It is non-compoundable, non-bailable, and the moment the complaint is lodged, whoever's name is appearing in the complaint, the mother, the married sister of the man, probably they're happily married, they have nothing to do with the house of that particular woman. They all are arrested. They all are arrested and sent in the biggest jail of the country for a few days.
And you're saying that
I
this
just
is
add
being
on to this.
misused.
This
And more than that, this is non-compoundable.
Yes.
Means you cannot withdraw the complaint. The girl cannot withdraw the complaint.
Right.
Now our judiciary is overburdened. In our country, to get justice, it takes 20 years. And everybody says that justice delayed is justice denied. And already overburdened judiciary, which needs a lot of change. We are burdening the judiciary with the false complaints. And secondly,
I think,
You cannot dominate this conversation. Can I
Flavia.
say something? When an offense is non-bailable, what does it mean? Let me explain to you as a lawyer. That means if an offense is serious, the police cannot give bail. It does not mean next day you cannot go to court and get bail.
Okay.
Even a murderer can get a bail. Even a terrorist can get a bail. Husband can get a bail. Father-in-law. Excuse me. Don't disturb me. Sandeep, please don't disturb me. I heard you out. So he is giving a wrong impression. Like if there is, say, kidnapping, if there is extortion, these are all non-bailable offences under the IPC. It is not 490, it is taken out of context. But you can get bail. So it does take time for cases to be heard. But within 2 days or 3 days, the person is out. The family is out. Nobody is inside. I am doing a study for the entire Bombay.
Trauma they go through.
So they must not be arrested. Think of the women who have died in the city of Bombay.
I agree with her.
Dowry death.
We're talking.
Suicides by women. Murders by... Excuse me, just hold on.
Yes.
When a person dies, burned to death, we are talking about why did this law come? The women are burnt to death in the husband's home.
I have the data.
I have the data too.
Double the number of married men or the men are committing suicide in our country.
Not
that
double
is
the amount.
NCRB data.
That's NCRB data even I have.
Okay, so
They are
double the
committing
men are committing suicide
not
in
because
our
of women.
country.
Not because of women. They are committing because of work.
If a
work
man is committing
situation.
suicide, that is not because of women. But if a
is
woman
what?
is committing suicide, then that is because of men. Now that is
You fail in the
that I
exam, you
don't-
commit suicide.
that I-
You work
that I can't
situation.
digest.
This thing is happening only in a city, even if it's happening.
Yeah, let's take an average of the country then.
Whole country, it's not happening. Women are suffering. Women are actually...
No,
I'm
That's
bad
okay.
about that.
Can we get Seema's point of view
agree
here?
with
So
Let's
what
just
he
pick
was
up on
saying,
what
I
Seema
agree
has to
with
say.
him that women were misusing it, and I have 13 to 11 to 10 members of the family at the same time in the jail, and I was supposed to look after the kids left outside the jail. That's how I got to know about these cases. What she ma'am is saying, that's also right. What you are saying that the case was posed and non-bailable and all that. Today the changes have come into the law because it was a new law. It had loopholes. So government is trying. Now immediately the case is not registered. The police is asked to go and check out whether it's true or false. So it's not that if I as a woman say that my husband is troubling me and put all my family members behind the bar, then they are not being put. There's a change has come. And the police, as I said again, is a mediator now. You have a counseling unit in the jail, in the police station, where the policeman is saying, don't go into the court, nothing is going to come out of the court. Why don't you two sit there? And we have counselors sitting in police station now.
But is this just happening in the urban areas? Is this
I'm
also
talking about
happening in
Delhi.
the rural
I'm talking
areas?
about Delhi. And what you were saying, it's only in urban area, no. But why we only have daughter-in-laws dying in the kitchen during the, where the burnt accident? Why don't we have son, mother-in-law and sister-in-laws dying? So in one place I am saying women are doing naughty things and bad, and there I am saying why only the daughter-in-laws are dying during the burning. So I just want to quote Girija Vyas is a known minister in this. She said, tells a man in Hindi, I don't want to say that in Hindi, you are not that bad, but I am also not that good.
SEBHA, you wanted to say something.
Just a point that when he says that the suicide rates are double, so he's only talking about giving the impression that it's violence against men. It can be other causes of poverty. We have had farmers' death. A very big cause is gender. Caste. Caste, the Dalits, the scheduled castes, those people being massacred by the upper castes is happening. It's happening a lot in, again I'm talking about the great Indo-Gangetic belt,
It's a lot
which
of
is
fronts,
26.
happening, farmer suicide, because of
Farmer
seeds,
suicides are
multinational
happening.
corporations, failure of
Why
agriculture.
also farmers are getting into debt because of subsidies not going to them. Farmers are getting into debt because of health care. Health care is not there. So the family, treatment of the family, the people get into debt on that. The biggest cause of debt is health care. So again, a social security service which is not coming.
Firstly, we were talking about feticide and infanticide. We've gone way off every track as what we started off. I really doesn't matter about men being beaten.
No.
1 second, Sandeep, let us finish talking. You've taken the 6 women and you alone. So it's time for you to give 6 chances. But what I'm saying is the fact that we started with feticide and infanticide, women having a place in whether they should be born or not be born. We're starting off with that. We've reached a stage where they're being burnt and beaten up and men are being thrashed. That's totally off track. Idea was that yes, we have feticide, which is very prevalent. We have infanticide. Feticide is when the fetus is gotten rid of, which happens in the economically, socially well-off places because you have sex determination clinics. Infanticide is when they don't know all these things, the child is born and then the girl child is gotten rid of. We are talking about that at that level where these people are not allowed, children are not allowed to be born. The brains behind this, whether it's the husband or the mother-in-law, we don't know. The fact that the mother-in-law went through this in a home, so she's been in her brain that if I was brought up with this, maybe there is something right in this. Therefore, her sons and her whatever, her sibling, I mean her children are taught that this is the way it should be. Those men are again brought up with this whole thought that if I have a daughter, what will others think? Who will take care of my businesses? But we've forgotten today, we are talking about the fact that women are doing so brilliantly in life. Right. Women have progressed, therefore they should be allowed to be born. They should allow birth. Can you imagine the equations where you are talking about importing women? Tomorrow you're going to import one man, 5 men with 1 woman because you don't have women available.
Okay,
all this time later, they'll be thrashed later on. But
very
at least
valid
let them
point
be born
here.
first.
One moment, Sandip. Can we just say
what she's saying is right, because polyandry, rape, gang rape, abduction, kidnapping is going to increase if the ratios, there are no women left.
Because there are no women there.
And what she talked about the past, that all men, all mother-in-laws are acting as a psychologist, so I have to cut the mindset, the past and all that umbilical cords have to be cut and have to have newer open mind so that we can know that these opportunities are existing.
See, we are doing
and is how do you change the mindset?
I am talking about gender sensitization. Since the last 3 years, I think I have been the one who has learned the most, though I was supposed to be a trainer. Sensitizing a man can't cry. In Indian society, a man cannot cry. If he cries, we say, go and wear a sari or a dupatta.
Right.
If he says, I can't protect my girlfriend on the road, he's given a bangle. Because this is a symbol of a woman. But that has to change. Today, a man is wearing a pant. And then they say, oh, you are the man of the house. And you are taunted. You have short hair, you are the man of the house.
Right.
So, that changes are taking place. Then I talk to the people that gender and sex is different. Sex is your biological. When you're born, you're a man or a woman. But as a gender, which is socio-culture thing, that you're a man, still you can cry, you can be nice to people. And you're a woman, you can have short hair and you can be strong. But that stereotype has to be changed.
Priya, I see you.
I think if we all are saying that there are certain amount of expectations from a woman, I think there are more number of expectations from a man.
But you know why
I would like to put
that is so because
some
men
points
feel
here.
they want to take all the shots. Therefore, we
but
expect if you
sometimes
want to call the
even a
shot,
man
then
feels
you
like
make sure
crying.
A, B, C, D happens. If you want to be the boss everywhere and you want to decide that when I leave for work, my breakfast is
not
ready,
all men are
irrespective
that
who
way.
makes it. When I come back from work, my dinner is ready, irrespective who makes it. You want to be the one lying with your feet on the top,
not all
then you
men are
bloody
that
well
way.
take responsibility for everything.
No, but
You
not
cannot
all
then put the
men.
blame
Nowadays,
anywhere
men are
else.
changing. I think men are changing.
Now,
They are
some
taking
very
care of
valid
the house.
points.
Yes.
A few years back, maybe 27 years back, there was a blockbuster movie in India called Mard. And in Hindi, there was a line called Mard ko kabhi dard nahi hota.
Meaning?
Meaning, a man cannot be in pain.
What, sorry?
A man cannot be in pain. Okay. Okay. Now, I don't know who was influenced by that, but the lawmakers of our country, they are quite influenced with that. Now, in our country, if you will see the grassroots ground realities, basically it is a process of 200 years. The actual renaissance, the revolution started in 1815 by Raja Ram Mohan Roy.
Sandip, can I stop you? You're not going to give us a history lesson because we're don't have time for a history lesson.
Currently the situation
Sorry.
Sandeep, can I say one thing before we say, we are talking on an international network. Don't keep putting a politician and country down. Talk about the problem we have to talk. We're talking about everything but the issue.
I will say,
going off track.
I will say how the men are in the receiving end in gender inequality. Now, the laws are definitely, ultimately, if there is any dispute in the house, the matter is going to go to the court. Now, in the eyes of law, the men are deemed to be guilty unless and until they are proven innocent. And every possible torture is inflicted on him. And not only men and his family. Now, in our country, what's happening? I told you about the Protection of Women in Domestic Violence Act. Now, okay.
First of all, telling wrong things.
Okay.
Not only false, but
no,
you will counter.
I am going to have to wrap up this discussion, I'm afraid. One question that I'm going to ask, and Seema, I want to ask you this question because you are working with men to try and change the mindsets. working with women as well, trying to change their mindsets. Do you think that India will ever see the same sort of gender equality or liberalization for women that the Western world is seeing?
I think we have already, only, you know, it is in a different context. The mother-in-law also always had the freedom to decide. She is the boss of the house. So that way we have had the freedom. Only in economic sense and the Western sense, we have not the gender equality. I think that I have 2 daughters. My driver has 1 daughter. I think it's a beautiful example. My daughter got married last year. I have not given her a penny of dowry. Not a penny of dowry. I only want to say that. And see that the change is coming.
You have a shining India, you have an India that's still struggling to be there, and I think it's a matter of time, you know. I don't see any reason why people who are down, people are working at grassroots level, I'm sure they bring result, you know. Why are we
women are able to talk in front of the camera, and we are here from all different states of India. I'm from Delhi. It shows the change is coming, and I'm going to say, we were discussing, we have to highlight, the media must highlight the positive point. We generally love the negative. Please bring up the positive things, and women who are done even little better in their lives should be highlighted.
On that point, I'm afraid, and I realize this discussion can go on and on and on because there are a lot of issues, but on that point, I'm afraid we are going to have to wrap it up. Thank you very much for all your viewpoints. Thanks very much for being with us in the cafe. Next week, we're back in Mumbai, where we'll be asking, is India really a rising superpower?
I cancelled my other appointment to be here because I really believe in this issue, and I thought, you know, international channel, we should be here and we should be talking about issues. I'm not here to have a fight with each other and talk about things and set right what wrong things are being propagated.
I am not against women. I support a human being. I support the Indian family system. I support the Indian family welfare system. I support the Indian men also. I feel that the law should be equal for everybody.
It's only been 64 years India has been independent. Another 10 years, women will be everywhere, and we don't mind it. The new generation does not mind it, actually, you know. We are more open to that.
And I think women are independent, they are economically independent, they are ambitious, they are aggressive now, so they don't need reservations.
A major issue that was left out was caste. The caste system as it exists in India. You know, it's very there's a great deal of gender equality between castes and within castes also.
I just thought we went a little off track. What we were supposed to be talking on was female, girl child, women. When we went out to more of male problems, then who really gives a damn about male problems? Honestly, I don't care. That's it.